Headache picking a team for the London World Championships. Lynn Washira, KT News.
Trailing in the wake of Daniel Wan.
Laikipia Nature Conservancy owner Cookie Goldman was early today shot and wounded after armed raiders invaded her ranch. The 73-year-old Goldman was shot in the stomach and left for dead by her attackers. Goldman was treated at Nanyuki County Hospital before she was airlifted to Nairobi for further treatment. The shooting is the latest pitting ranchers and armed raiders in Laikipia. She was quoted early this year saying that land invasion had led to massive destruction on her land. President Uhuru Kenyatta, meanwhile, has condemned the attack and says action will be taken against politicians inciting people to invade the ranches. Now, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has declined to extend the deadline for party primaries. The IEBC, which met political party representatives, says parties must stick to the April 26th deadline and use their membership lists to conduct the primaries. Jubilee, which is set to conduct its nominations in the next 3 days, following flawed nominations in 21 counties last week, says it's all systems go.
Following party primaries marred by chaos and confusion, which saw Jubilee cancel nominations in 21 counties, the party is hoping to get things right this time round. At the party headquarters, preparations ahead of the nomination exercise, which has been staggered over the next 3 days. Materials including party rubber stamps, marker pens, badges and ballot boxes rented from the IEBC were dispatched, with the party saying all is set.
Where the ballot papers were breached, there are certain areas where ballot papers are not breached, but in areas where they had been breached, we have had to do a total reprint.
The chaotic party primaries were the agenda of the day during a meeting between the IEBC and chairpersons of national election boards and secretary generals of 14 political parties, among them ODM, Jubilee, KANU, Ford Kenya, NAK Kenya and PNU. With just 3 days to the IEBC deadline for party primaries, the electoral body declined a request for an extension of the deadline.
The Commission directs political parties to complete their nominations within the gazetted timelines.
Jubilee was initially set to conduct nominations in Nairobi last Friday, but rescheduled the exercise to Monday. The party was planning to move the Nairobi primaries to Tuesday, a date that has been changed again.
Political parties must avoid having primaries at the same venue on the same date.
The most difficult was Nairobi. That's why we wanted to move that to Tuesday, but because it's clashing with ODM primaries and we're using the same schools as polling centers. So as a courtesy, since they were on that date first, we've decided to move to Wednesday.
Missing names in the 2013 IEBC register was one of the issues in the flawed primaries. Now the IEBC says parties should rely on their membership registers.
One, parties shall only use their membership lists during party primaries. The 2013 IEBC register may only be used as a reference point for identifying the polling stations where the voters are based.
With the promise of a free, fair, credible and incident-free nomination exercise, the next 3 days will provide an acid test for political parties. Rita Tinina, KTN News.
Now, even amid the confusion that has marred party primaries, the latest opinion poll by Infotrack shows that about 7 out of 10 Kenyans are confident that the 2017 general election will be free and fair. The survey conducted between the 9th and the 12th of April shows that Kenyans are confident that the electoral body IEBC will give Kenyans a credible general election.
With only 106 days left to the August 8th polls, the perception of Kenyans on the level of election preparedness looks positive. According to a survey conducted by InfoCheck, 73.2% of Kenyans believe that the 2017 general election will be free and fair, with another 72.8% having faith that the IEBC has adequately prepared for the elections.
Central is most confident that, the elections will be free and fair, followed by Eastern, and also Rift Valley at 77.2%. But look at Coast, where almost, 23% generally, or 24% generally, are not sure whether this election will be free and fair, and another 19% are saying no.
According to the survey, 72% of Kenyans believe that security agencies are well prepared to handle any outcome after the general election, an indication that a majority of Kenyans believe the poll will be peaceful. Political parties will be wrapping up their primaries to beat the 26th April deadline set by the IEBC. The pressure will now mount on the Independent and Electoral Boundaries Commission as they seek to maintain their faith in Kenyans on their level of preparedness for the August 8th elections. Raquel Muigai, KTN News.
All right, let's now go to the North Rift. And insecurity in the volatile Kerio Valley could affect party primaries that are scheduled to take place in Elgeyo-Marakwet County. This follows the killing of 2 people by suspected bandits. Elvis Koskei now joins me live from Eldoret for details about this and preparations for Jubilee primaries in the area. Elvis, a very good evening to you. It's very good to see you this evening. So talk to us about the preparations there and the security situation and the preps ahead of that.
Thank you very much, Yvonne. And exactly tomorrow, the nomination exercise will kick off in the following counties. In Nandi County, we expect the incumbent Cleophas Lagat to face former ministers Felix Koskei, Henry Kosgei, and the Senator Stephen Sang. In the Elgeyo-Marakwet County, the incumbent Alex Tanui Tolgos will face 4 other aspirants in the region, including Moses Changwonyi, Keio South MP Jackson Kiptanui, and also among other aspirants who are in the region. But of great concern is the insecurity menace that has continued to ravage and wreaked havoc in the region. 2 people yesterday were killed in Kapkobil area, that is around Tot area, and it is believed that they are bandits believed to be from the neighboring community. And with me, I'm joined by Engineer Alex Tolgos, the governor of Elgeyo-Marakwet County. The security menace has continued to wreak havoc in your region. And we saw the other day, Deputy President commissioned more than 255 National Police Reservists to complement the police in bolstering security in the region. Will this affect the party primaries tomorrow?
Thank you, Elvis. First of all, I want to say that the intervention which was taken by the National Police to recruit NPR has really improved the security situation in Elgeyo-Marakwet and the entire Kerio Valley. And I want to say that we are sad that yesterday 2 of our people were killed, and today in the evening 1 motorbike rider was attacked. It's an area which needs a police post to be put as soon as possible.
Okay. Lastly, Mheshimiwa, are you ready for the duel? You're facing Keio Member of Parliament Jackson Kiptanui, Moses Changwony, and Livingstone Talel. Are you ready?
Elvis, I want to say that I'm ready because I've been in the office since 2013. Elgeyo-Marakwet County, we've done a lot in terms of development, and also we are prepared enough for the nomination. We regret what happened the other day, but my people are still ready, and I'm optimistic that tomorrow the exercise will go on smoothly, and I'll emerge the winner at the end of this exercise.
Your message maybe to the residents of Elgeyo-Marakwet County?
My message to the residents of Elgeyo-Marakwet is let's vote peacefully, and also for our brothers and sisters in Kerio Valley, let's also be vigilant and ensure that our security is first of all taken care of before we talk about the issues of nomination. Otherwise, I want to tell my competitors that let's have a peaceful, free and fair nomination process, because all of us are in Jubilee Party and we must ensure that Jubilee remains one family at the end of the exercise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Many thanks. That was the incumbent Alex Tolgos, the governor of Elgeyo Marakwet County, just giving us a perspective of what we're expecting tomorrow in Elgeyo Marakwet County and also Nandi County. Yvonne will keep you up to date on what will be happening in those regions.
Thanks very much, Elvis Koskei, reporting there from the North Rift. Thank you. We'll definitely catch up with you more tomorrow. Now, a section of ODM aspirants in Kisumu County now want tomorrow's primaries postponed. The aspirants are uncomfortable with the exercise, arguing that the change of elections team in the area was confusing. Noah Tieno now joins me on phone from Kisumu. Noah, good to speak to you this evening. So, which aspirants want these primaries postponed? When do they want them postponed to? And perhaps you could tell us more about the specific issues they have with this exercise tomorrow.
Good evening. Actually, let me correct you. It's not a section of the ODM aspirants. The returning officer for Kisumu County has just called off the entire process in Kisumu County. His name is Kongo. He says that he was appointed just last night after the County Elections Board was disbanded. So he says he's not ready, and he says that he has had a lot of complaints from all the aspirants in Kisumu County. He says there are a lot of differences over not just the appointment of the new county elections team, but also their readiness for the elections tomorrow under the new team. So Tom Okongo, the newly appointed returning officer for Kisumu County, has just called off the entire ODM primaries process in Kisumu County, Yvonne.
All right, when does he give an indication? Obviously, just being appointed last night may be a little bit problematic for him. But so calling it off, have they given a new date? Does he still want to continue to conduct the exercise, considering the short notice? Or is he perhaps proposing for somebody else to handle this process?
No. He has no problem with his appointment. He says it was actually called by the National Elections Board, by the General Secretary for the National Elections Board, Dr. Robert Arunga, and he says that he has communicated this particular decision, this particular concern. He has discussed it with the National Elections Board General Secretary, Dr. Robert Arunga, and that Dr. Robert Arunga agrees with him that they should call off the entire process in Kisumu County. He says that it is this actual postponement or cancellation as it is indefinite, that he doesn't know which date then they would communicate to the aspirants in terms of when they would be ready to run the process. But as you and I know, there are just about 3 more days to the deadline given by the IEBC for the 26th. So I don't know what they will do, though he says that he is now waiting for the National Elections Board to call all the aspirants in Kisumu County. That is practically everyone, from those running for governor to those running for member of county assembly, to call all of them, to communicate to them a new date, if any, or the next step after this one, Yvonne. I have spoken to some of the aspirants in Kisumu County via phone, face-to-face, and some of them are very angry. Some of them are particularly happy about this decision. I would tell you that I know that Senator Professor Peter Anyang' Nyong'o's camp actually wanted this election postponed. They would be very happy with this decision. But I've also spoken to an aspirant, Dr. Hezron Makobewa, a businessman here who was running against Senator Nyong'o and against the incumbent Governor Jack Ranguma, and is very, very, very unhappy. He says that there are camps in Kisumu County controlling the elections process. Because remember, the County Elections Board for Kisumu was disbanded just the other day on Friday over concerns filed by some 2 voters that the then County Elections Board was filled with allies of some camps in this particular process. And now Dr. Makobewa is saying that he is unhappy because he feels that this particular decision has been pushed through by the camp allied to Senator Professor Nyong'o. But these are facts that I will confirm again later in the night. But I can tell you for a fact that the returning officer for Kisumu County elections, the newly appointed returning officer for Kisumu County, called off the entire primaries in Kisumu County, Yvonne.
Right, thanks very much for that, Noah. As you point out, of course, the exercise just has that deadline to go, and the IEBC has declined to extend that. So should be some interesting happenings tomorrow. That's Noah Otieno. He's our associate editor, joining us from Kisumu County, where he tells us the returning officer has called off the party primaries that were set to take place in Kisumu County tomorrow, citing unpreparedness as he was appointed just last night. So let's go back to the North Rift region, where sealed ballot papers for the Jubilee primaries in Nandi County are expected to arrive in Kapsabet town before midnight tonight for onward distribution to various polling stations. Our reporter Patrick Amimo is in Nandi County and filed the following report.
Jubilee Party primaries were to be held in Nandi County Friday last week, but they flopped due to shortage of ballot papers and other logistical challenges. But the exercise is now set for Monday.
We hope that the Secretariat of Jubilee has put in place all the mechanisms, ensure that everybody who ought to vote is given the opportunity to vote.
We are expecting nothing short of a free and a fair process, because that is the prayer of most of the aspirants that we have in Aldai constituency.
Nandi County, which is perceived to be a Jubilee zone, has 263,264 registered voters according to the latest IEBC figures. The county has 6 constituencies, namely Aldai, Emgwen, Chesumei, Nandi Hills, Mosop and Tinderet. Speaking at St. Stephen's Ibanja Parish headquarters in Aldai constituency, Anglican Bishop Paul Korir had a message for voters.
As we go to the primaries, every party, we want to send a very strong signal as church that priority number 1 should be peace and harmonious process, that everybody will feel satisfied, everybody will feel justice has been done. Because when we talk about democracy, it is widening the scope of agreeing to disagree. And so we want to ask all the parties, and particularly now Jubilee, which is actually we can say the ruling party, it should set the standard. It should raise the standard so that all the shambles and the shenanigans cannot be seen in this country. We want them to be straightforward, allow everybody to participate in this democratic right.
Could the decision by the Jubilee Party to cancel primaries in 21 counties last Friday lead to voter apathy?
That they could be fatigued a little bit. They were prepared for Friday. That didn't happen. We want to tell them that turn out in large numbers tomorrow. Come and exercise your constitutional right, vote in the leaders that you want.
On behalf of the Anglican Diocese of Kapsabet and on behalf of the judges in this county, actually, we want to say we want the nominations to be a replica, to be a reflection of what will happen in August. So we wish all the candidates every blessing. For as long as they have been cleared by IEBC and their respective parties, we wish them well.
Jubilee's party nominations last week might as well have been a mock exam. The real test begins this week, with the IEBC window closing Wednesday. Patrick Amimo, KTN News, Nandi.
All right, so let's have a spot check on what's happening in Siaya County. Rashid Ronald joins me live from there to give us an update on the preparations ahead of this exercise tomorrow. Remember, it's just a couple of days to go, so a lot rides on what happens tomorrow. Rashid, preps ahead of tomorrow?
Yeah, thank you very much, Yvonne. Back in Nairobi there, I am in Siaya County, Siaya town, home to ODM leader Raila Odinga. And when I say ODM leader Raila Odinga, of course, the stakes are very, very high here. Whoever wins that coveted ticket tomorrow is assured probably of winning the battle, of course, because ODM is a party of Mama and Baba here, of course. And Siaya County has about 6 constituencies constituencies and 30 wards. And of course, the aspirants have been doing rounds the whole day today, trying to convince voters, asking them to vote for them come tomorrow. And of course, the battle now, all eyes are much focused on the gubernatorial race, pitting the incumbent Cornelius Rasanga. We have Kare Orege, and we also have Rarieda MP Gumbo, Nicholas Gumbo, if you like it. And of course, both of them have been doing rounds across the county today. And the preparations, we are now counting hours until morning when we shall be able to know who is going to win respective seats. And we are lucky to have Siaya Governor Cornelius Rasanga with us here. And of course, Your Excellency, how prepared are you for tomorrow?
I'm adequately prepared because you remember these elections were supposed to take place on 13th and they were postponed until tomorrow. So even if they had been conducted on 13th, I could have still been well prepared. I'm well prepared. I've gone through all the constituencies, all the 30 wards in Siaya, and I'm confident that when these elections are going to be held free and fair, I shall win.
And of course, earlier on today, you expressed some concerns on the activities of your main rivals. Can you take us through that?
Yes, the activities of the main rival, he seems to be employing dirty tricks by the day. At one point, I hear they want to use my T-shirts and my caps and give them to their people to cause problems. This is something that we completely detest. We wouldn't like such a thing to happen, because when violence is meted on the people, it means that they will be interfering with the free and fair voting by the people. I understand they have even imported some people, some 200 people are spotted in Bondo, which means that they are really out to do it. Although I had reported this to the relevant authorities, that is the police, so that they take care. I'm also briefed by the regional commander that all will be well in Siaya, so that every polling station will be having enough security, together with the local security of our youths. We believe it will be a free and fair election.
Yeah, Yvonne, you've heard from the incumbent Siaya Governor Cornelius Rasanga. All he said, he's saying he's confident he's going to win that seat again. Of course, a lot of concern, again, much focus will be on the Bondo seat, pitting Prime Minister Raila Odinga's brother, Oburu Odinga, and Mheshimiwa, the MP, Honorable Ochanda. Back to you in a...
Thanks very much, Rashid Ronald, for that report from Siaya. Of course, all of our reporters are stationed across the country all week to bring you the very latest from the party primaries exercise that will, of course, conclude later this week after the IEBC declined to extend that deadline. Well, in the coast, ODM primaries on Saturday have seen some veterans lose, paving way for newcomers in politics. Francis Mtalaki now reports on the winners and losers in the party primaries.
A day after polling stations closed in Mombasa, ODM elections officials cannot declare results for the party nominations in 3 out of 6 constituencies, meaning the positions of women representative and the senatorial seat will have to wait a little longer. This has now brought about confusion, with 2 frontrunners declaring their own results.
Kwamba sisi tumeshinda tikiti ya Senate kwa chama cha ODM katika Mombasa County. Mwenzetu alitoa statement kwa Facebook saa 3 usiku jana, wakati madebe ya Kisauni yalikuwa bado yanahesabiwa, madebe ya Changamwe, madebe ya Jomvu yalikuwa bado yanahesabiwa.
Certificate yetu tupewe, lakini tunataka kusema kwamba hii certificate lazima tuipate leo. Hatutaki tena kungojea. Tumengoja usiku kucha, Tumetoka hapa karibu, tumengoja hapa tangu jana saa 9 usiku. Wengine tumelala hapa kwa hiki kituo. Tunangojea hiyo certificate. Na sisi tunataka kuambia kwamba hatutaondoka hapa mpaka hiyo certificate tupatiwe leo.
The 3 constituencies that are said to have incomplete nominations are Jomvu, Changamwe and Kisauni constituencies. In Jomvu constituency, 2 polling stations, namely Mikindani Primary and Bangladesh Primary, did not vote. At Changamwe constituency, the County Elections Board says that there were a lot of disruption of voting, leading to the arrest of the area Member of Parliament Omar Mwinyi. And in Kisauni constituency, the returning officer is alleged to have abandoned his duties. However, in Vita, Nyali and Likoni constituencies, the exercise was successful. In Nyali, ODM election chairman David Odada declared export and import businessman Said Abdallah the winner, trouncing journalist Muhammad Ali. Said Abdallah, also known as Saido, garnered 3,671 votes, while Muhammad Ali was second with 2,987 votes.
ODM, if they want people to vote fairly and they want this political party to have mileage in this country, they have to be very, very fair. We had meetings there with all leaders telling us that this election will be very free and fair. It is very, very pathetic.
And in Likoni constituency, Mishi Mboku, the current women representative, was given green light to contest for the constituency with a total of 5,935 votes against Samisi Ali, who managed 3,294 votes. In the neighboring Kwale County, Dr. Issa Chipera has clinched the ODM gubernatorial ticket with 7,085 votes, beating Kwale County Speaker Sami Rua with 6,649 votes. Gereza Dena garnered 3,501 votes to emerge third, while Mohamed Mochai was fourth with 3,448 votes. In the senatorial seat, Issa Juma Boy clinched the ticket with 15,307 votes against Nicholas Zani, who garnered 4,832 votes. Zuleika Hassan will fly the ODM flag bearer in the women representative position, having secured a win with 11,320 votes, as Fatuma Masito garnered 8,677 votes. Francis Mtalaki, KTN News, Mombasa.
All right, we will be discussing that later on with my guests all set to discuss the ongoing party primaries. But of course, a lot is being said in this environment, the party primaries, the electoral period. And that's why we always have Alphonse Shudu, who's the Kenya editor for Africa Check, to fact-check statements that are being made. So again, at Shundu, at Yvonne Okwara, at Africa Check. If you need anything fact-check is the hashtag. Good to see you this week.
Thank you.
So today we are fact-checking a statement that was made by Governor Evans Kidero. Now this was at a TV interview recently. If we can just have that statement first, and then we will get to hear it from the horse's mouth, quite literally, as they say. So this is what he said. What we must accept is that when I got in, Nairobi was in a hole and never had a strategic or a development plan. Let's listen to just that clip of him saying exactly this, and then we'll come back and talk about it.
Nairobi was in a hole, right? And when you get into a hole, what you do is stop digging. And we stopped that. We stopped the digging. Nairobi never had a strategic plan. Nairobi never had a development plan. We now have a new plan which defines how Nairobi goes.
Okay, so Alphonse, Nairobi never had a development plan, never had a strategy plan. I mean, we'll get into the one he's selling.
Yes.
It's campaign time, so everybody's selling something.
Mm-hmm.
Is this, just talk to us about this, and maybe we can take a look at some of those other plans as well.
When we had this statement, like the interviewers, we thought it's just a statement made in passing.
Right.
But then people kept asking for us to check if this is really true.
Right.
So the question we asked first is, where is the evidence that a city that has been there since the 19th century...
The green city in the sun.
Yes, developed Like
just
this,
like that.
yes,
Yeah.
without any plan.
So it just happened, sort of like the
Yes.
Big Bang Theory.
Yes.
We'll get to that. So let's talk about his plan,
Yes.
because he went on to sell his plan, yes?
Yes.
Because this is it, isn't it?
Yes,
So
the
talk to us
Nairobi
about this plan, yeah.
This
has
is the
some interesting
Nairobi
things, yes.
International Urban Integrated Plan. So in short, they call it NEU plan in short.
Right.
So it has things like light rail system. It's why it looks forward to a city where we have dedicated bus lanes, a city where we have modern waste management systems. So all that is in his plan.
In his plan.
Yes.
And his plan is the one that he said existed before any other.
Yes, he said like it's the only plan that the city has ever had.
Okay.
So that's the import of his statement.
Right, but
Yes.
you went ahead and talked to, a couple of people.
Yes.
City planners. And we can take a look at some of those other plans that apparently have existed in Nairobi. We did actually, you found
Yes.
that there were more plans that existed in this country from as far back.
From as far back as 1906, we actually went to the Kenya Institute of Planners, and we talked to the chairperson, who's Dr. Lawrence Esho, and he's the chairman of the Department of Spatial Planning and Urban Design at the Technical University of Kenya. So it's something he teaches, it's something he knows.
Yeah.
And then we went to the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA.
yeah.
They have done some studies with the now defunct Ministry of Local Government.
Right.
So we looked at their data too, and we went to the city, the county government itself.
Okay.
So we got some information from them.
Right.
So from the information that we got, this is what he says. There have been plans. The railways plan was by 1906 by railway engineers, and the city then was 25 square kilometers. So in 1927, there was a plan for a settler capital.
Yes.
Yes, and that was, the city expanded to 77 square kilometers. That's where they were saying, they were sort of racially segregating the city,
right,
where the whites would stay and where the blacks would stay.
All right.
Then in 1948, we had what we call master plan for the colonial capital.
Okay.
So for this one, the city expanded to the current boundaries, 695 square kilometers.
All right.
So it's the same when it got to 1973.
Yes.
That is the size of Nairobi, 695 square kilometers.
Okay. So
And
I want us to pause before we even talk about this one.
Yes.
Because to be fair, Governor Kidero in that interview talked about all these other plans. But there's a reason we've saved this one for last, right? So let's listen to what he had to say, because he went on. It was a bit of contradiction, right?
Yes.
So he started off by saying there had never been a plan, and then
he went on to say, mention this in passing,
right,
and then acknowledge, say, this one had never been implemented. His will be the first to be implemented.
His will be the first, and he gave a guarantee. So let's listen to him now.
The first plan was done in 1927, next one 1948, the other one 63 and 73, and all of them never took effect. The one that is now being implemented with the district plans is the one we did recently, which we launched in, we did between 2013 and 2014.
Okay, but did he forget to mention this one?
So let's unpack this statement first.
Yeah.
So he says those other plans have never took effect. So we have the 1973 plan, which talked about the ring roads and the bypasses.
Right.
So if the land was paid, you remember in 2003 when the Kibaki came in,
yes,
and he dusted off the plans and he was demolishing houses all over, and those people were making noise, and the government was saying, you guys were paid this money, and the government already acquired this land.
Right.
Yes, from the 1973 plan.
I see.
So that was the plan for that was there.
Right.
So
the
yes. Then in 2010, in 2008 December.
Yes.
Mutula Kilonzo, Raila Odinga, and the president then, they went to the KICC and they launched Nairobi Metro 2030. Now, the reason why analysts and the experts we spoke to say that that should not be included in this tally is because the Nairobi Metro was dealing with different counties.
With different counties,
yes.
But that's not to say should it be discounted then on that basis?
The experts asked us that it would be unfair to include it because it covers a larger area, not Nairobi alone.
All right.
But most of the things in the 2014 Nairobi Integrated Urban Development Master Plan,
which is Kidero's plan,
plan, are in fact included in the Nairobi Metro 2030,
I see.
And it's sort of an update to the 1973 plan.
Okay. So he can't be talking about there was no plan before when his plan is an update of one that was there in 1973.
Exactly. That's the point. That's the point. He can't say there had never been a plan.
Okay.
He cannot say, and just to sum this up, he cannot say that the other plans have never been implemented. Like this, his is the first, because evidence that we have seen and from the researches that have been done by Kenyan architects and Kenyan urban planners, filed with international research institutions like the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology, which does these things, research on urban planning, shows that all the other plans were implemented in part. They were not fully implemented because they would require a lot of capital outlays, but they were.
But it's not that they were never implemented.
He can't say never.
Okay, so let's give a verdict then. Shundu, let's go into that. So this is, of course, what you were talking about, that this was commissioned in 2011, that Metropolitan Area Spatial Development. But I'd like us to quickly move to the verdict. So that statement that was made by Evans Kidero, that there had never been a plan until he came into office, a development plan?
That statement is incorrect.
Great.
And we could add that there is no guarantee that his plan would be fully implemented unlike the others. So we're just putting things into
context.
Yes.
Great. All right, so that's the fact check for tonight. Please do make sure you continue to tweet us. And of course, this will be available on Africa Check. I think it's already available, so you can go there for more information. At Africa Check, at Shundu, at Yvonne Okwara.
www.africacheck.org.
There you go. And please use the hashtag FactCheck for anything that you want us to check out. And this could be by any politician. Remember, it is a time when they're selling their wares at the market. We want to be sure that the products they're selling us do what they actually say. Right? Okay.
Yes,
Alphonse Shundu, Kenya editor for Africa Check. Thanks for joining us, as you do every Sunday. You're watching Checkpoint. We're taking a break. When we return, we have Kamodo Waiganjo, we have Professor Michael Wainaina, we have Felix Owor, all of these experts in